the Earth is standing at the heart of a powerful cosmic chain reaction. Solar flares are surging, comets are aligning, and energy waves are sweeping across space, all converging on our planet.
When these coronal mass ejections, on occasion, come in contact with the Earth, they can disturb the Earth's geomagnetic field and cause geomagnetic storms on Earth.
From the blazing sun to distant meteor streams, every force seems to point toward Earth as if something immense is building. Scientists call it space weather. But what's unfolding feels much bigger. A moment where cosmic forces collide, and the planet becomes their meeting point. What happens next could shift our perspective from Earthbound to universe-aware. Solar fire awakens. We've just witnessed the strongest solar flare from the Earth-facing side of the Sun since June 19th. A massive M5.0 class flare, followed quickly by a second M3.3 class event. These weren't quick bursts of energy. They were long-duration explosions, the kind that tear open magnetic fields and launch clouds of solar plasma deep into space. This kind of explosion produces what's known as a coronal mass ejection, or CME, a vast, high-speed wave of charged particles. And while this particular event isn't a direct bullseye, it's still a partial halo, CME, meaning Earth is in the path of a glancing blow. The projected impact window, around 3 to 4 days from now. But some effects have already arrived. Just 8 minutes after the flare erupted, a wave of high-energy photons reached Earth. These rays slammed into the upper atmosphere, specifically the D region of the ionosphere, causing a radio blackout over parts of Africa. That's the kind of disruption that can interfere with aircraft communications, GPS, and global radio transmissions. This is more than just a technical glitch. These solar events have a ripple effect, not only on satellites and systems, but potentially even on human sleep, energy levels, and overall biological rhythms. People around the world have reported sleep disturbances, unease, or heightened sensitivity around strong solar storms. It may not be coincidence. Earth is absorbing this energy, and we are part of that system. And this is likely only the beginning. The sunspot region responsible for this flare is still facing Earth and remains highly unstable. If it continues to build, we could see even larger solar eruptions in the days ahead, including the kind of X-class flares that have the power to trigger geomagnetic storms, auroras visible far beyond the poles, and even satellite malfunctions. The sun has woken up. Something big is building. And Earth is directly in the path. The return of the sunspots. As powerful as that last solar flare was, it's likely just the beginning. What's unfolding now on the surface of the sun is part of a much larger pattern, one that's been building for weeks, possibly months. That M5 class flare we just experienced, it came from the first of 3 enormous sunspot groups now rotating into direct view of Earth. And these aren't quiet sunspots. They're highly unstable, highly active, and they've been gaining strength. 2 of these sunspot groups had previously rotated across the Earth-facing side of the Sun about 2 weeks ago. At that time, they were already generating flares and disturbances, right when they were briefly aligned with an interstellar object known as Comet 3 I Atlas. After drifting out of view on the far side of the Sun, they didn't go dormant. In fact, they appear to have become even more active while hidden from Earth. Now, they're back. The first of the 3 sunspot groups has just returned to the eastern limb of the Sun, entering the Earth-facing side of its rotation. It's already producing significant solar flares. The 2 others are just behind it, preparing to follow. This gives us a rough 2-week window where all 3 of these powerful magnetic regions will be directly facing Earth. And that increases the chance for additional flares, coronal mass ejections, and elevated solar wind. One of the sunspots, identified as active region 4274, is already showing strong magnetic complexity. That's a key sign that it's capable of producing strong M-class or even X-class flares, the kind of explosions that don't just affect satellites and power grids, but can also light up the skies with auroras in places that rarely see them. It's not just about the flares, though. These sunspot regions carry with them powerful magnetic fields that can reconnect and snap violently, launching plasma and radiation into space. When those eruptions are directed toward Earth, they become space weather events, geomagnetic storms that ripple through our planet's magnetosphere. So here's the picture. The Sun is entering a high-activity phase, and Earth is now in the direct line of fire. With all three sunspot groups soon in position, the next 2 weeks could bring some of the most intense solar activity we've seen in years. This is the solar system in motion, powerful, dynamic, and now fully Earth-facing. Cosmic connection with Comet A6 Lemon. Just as Earth moves into the path of multiple active sunspot regions, something else is approaching the Sun from deep space. It's called Comet A6 Lemon, and it's no ordinary visitor. On November 8th, this comet will reach perihelion, its closest approach to the Sun. That alone is an energetic moment, but this comet isn't just swinging by on a silent glide. It's doing so while blazing with electromagnetic intensity. Comet Lemon is currently trailing a long, vivid tail of dust and plasma, visible through high-powered telescopes. And it's not just a pretty sight. It's actively interacting with the solar wind, forming a visible coma, a bow shock, and even an ionopause. All signs of a charged, reactive object moving through a highly energized part of the solar system. But what makes this comet's journey especially interesting, even rare, is the timing. Its perihelion happens to coincide almost perfectly with the point at which the Sun's most active sunspot groups are rotating into full Earth-facing position. That means, from our perspective, the Sun, the active sunspots, and the comet are all lined up during this window of high solar tension. Now, while there's no known direct mechanism that links a comet's position with increased solar flaring, this alignment has caught the attention of researchers and observers alike. Comets are electromagnetically active, and their tails can stretch millions of miles, filled with ionized gas and charged particles. That energy, passing near the Sun's magnetic field, especially one already wound tight with unstable sunspots, could act like an amplifier for solar activity. Whether or not Comet Lemon is directly influencing the Sun, the overlap of timing, alignment, and electromagnetic behavior makes this perihelion event worth watching closely. As Comet Lemon cuts through the ecliptic plane, its trajectory places it in an unusually favorable position for Earth-based observation and possibly solar interaction. If we see an uptick in solar flares or CMEs during this time frame, the comet's presence may be more than a cosmic coincidence. So while sunspot groups rotate toward us from one side, a comet streaks in from deep space on the other, and Earth is caught right between them. Another piece in a rapidly building puzzle of space weather, and we're only halfway through the story. The supermoon effect. As if the Sun and comet weren't enough, another major force is stepping onto the stage, one much closer to home. On November 5th, Earth will experience the largest and brightest supermoon of the year. This is when the Moon reaches its closest point to Earth in its elliptical orbit, just about 221,000 miles away. And it's a big deal, both visually and energetically. We call it a supermoon because of how it dominates the night sky. But there's more going on here than just a stunning view. When the Moon comes this close to Earth, its gravitational pull intensifies. Most people are familiar with how the Moon drives the tides in our oceans, but during a supermoon, This gravitational tug reaches deeper, into the planet itself. These are known as Earth tides. Just like the ocean rises and falls, so does the Earth's crust, though on a much smaller and subtler scale. But during a supermoon, that vertical movement becomes more pronounced. The crust shifts, stretches, and compresses. And if there's already tension building in fault lines, this extra nudge can make all the difference. This particular supermoon doesn't arrive on its own. It comes in the middle of a cosmic convergence. The Sun is unusually active, hurling solar flares toward space. At the same time, a comet is reaching its closest point to the Sun, and a nearby planet sits directly between two incoming meteor streams. Layered on top of that, the supermoon creates a gravitational peak, where the forces pulling on Earth, solar, lunar, and cosmic, intersect and amplify. This is why scientists and researchers often watch closely around supermoons. Statistically, they've been associated with an uptick in seismic activity, particularly in tectonically sensitive zones. While a supermoon doesn't cause earthquakes directly, it may help trigger one that's already on the edge. And there's more. A supermoon also affects Earth's magnetosphere, the invisible field that protects us from solar radiation. When it's this close, the moon passes through our magnetotail, stirring up interactions with particles already being influenced by solar storms. So now, we have multiple forces in play: magnetic, gravitational, solar, and cosmic, all converging in a short time frame. The moon's arrival on November 5th may mark a turning point, where these energetic systems stack on top of one another, and Earth is right at the center of it all. The Taurid swarm. Just when you think the sky couldn't get any busier, it does. From November 4th to 9th, Earth passes through one of the most intriguing and potentially dangerous meteor streams in the solar system, the Taurids. Unlike typical meteor showers that sprinkle the sky with quick, harmless shooting stars, the Taurids are different. They're slower, brighter, and sometimes much larger. This stream is known for producing fireballs, not just tiny grains of dust, but pebble-sized rocks, and occasionally, something much bigger. Some researchers believe the Taurids may contain large, hazardous fragments, the kind that could pose a real impact threat. In fact, this very stream is connected to the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a theory that suggests a major cosmic event may have struck Earth roughly 12,000 years ago, contributing to sudden climate shifts and mass extinctions. Now, in 2025, all eyes are on the sky again, and for good reason. There's growing evidence that this year might bring more than the usual trickle of meteors. Some experts believe Earth may be brushing up against a denser region of the Taurid stream, a meteor swarm. That means not just more fireballs lighting up the night sky, but a higher chance of larger debris entering our atmosphere. But here's where it gets truly interesting and rare. Right now, the planet Uranus is positioned almost perfectly between the two Taurid peaks, the southern Taurids on November 5th and the northern Taurids on November 9th. Uranus, often associated in both astronomy and mythology with sudden change, disruption, and chaos, only moves into this kind of alignment once every 84 years. This unique positioning adds another layer to the unfolding picture: a cosmic wildcard. While we can't say for certain that a planet's alignment directly affects a meteor stream, this kind of resonant geometry in the solar system often corresponds with unexpected events. At the very least, it's symbolically, and perhaps energetically, significant. The alignment of a disruptive outer planet, right as Earth crosses paths with a swarm of ancient space debris, that's worth watching. In the nights ahead, don't be surprised if you see more fireballs than usual. And as always, What's visible in the sky may only be part of a larger chain reaction. Because now, Earth is not only surrounded by solar storms and gravitational pulls, it's flying through the remnants of something ancient and possibly still dangerous. Seismic unrest linked to solar events. While the skies are alive with energy, something is stirring beneath our feet. In the past 24 hours, Earth has been shaken by two powerful earthquakes, a magnitude 6.3 in Afghanistan and a 6.1 off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia. These aren't isolated events. They're part of a deeper, repeating pattern, one that may be directly linked to activity on the Sun. At the center of this connection is a massive coronal hole, an open region on the Sun's surface where magnetic fields stretch out into space, allowing streams of high-speed solar wind to escape. This particular coronal hole is transequatorial, meaning it spans both hemispheres of the Sun and sends solar wind directly toward Earth. And here's where it gets especially interesting. This exact solar wind stream has been associated with a 28-day rhythm of strong earthquakes since July. Every time this coronal hole rotates into Earth-facing position and begins sending a high-speed stream our way, seismic activity seems to spike, almost like clockwork. The trigger may come down to solar wind density. When the density drops below 1 particle per cubic centimeter, it appears to correlate with increased tectonic stress and eventual release. Think of it like a pressure valve. Earth's magnetic shield adjusts to the sudden influx of fast-moving particles, and that shift may subtly affect the tectonic plates beneath us, especially in areas already under stress. Right now, we're entering another one of those windows. The coronal hole has rotated back into view, and the solar wind is building. If the pattern holds, we could be approaching the next spike in seismic activity. The recent quakes in Asia and the Pacific may be the opening tremors of something larger. Seismic waves from these events have already been detected propagating through Eurasia and North America, showing that energy is transferring across tectonic boundaries. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Space weather isn't just about solar flares and satellites. It's increasingly clear that Earth's crust responds to solar cycles, and right now, both systems, Earth and Sun, are active, aligned, and energized. We've seen this pattern before, and if it holds, the next few days could bring another tectonic release, one that reminds us that space weather doesn't stop in the sky. It reaches all the way down, into the ground we walk on. Upcoming new moon. As we look ahead on the cosmic calendar, one final piece of this energetic puzzle is about to fall into place, and it's happening in the skies on November 20th. On that day, the solar system enters into an extraordinary planetary alignment. At the center of it is Mercury, the planet of communication and rapid change. Mercury will reach what's called inferior conjunction Cazimi, a moment where it passes directly between Earth and the Sun, aligning in a near-perfect line. But that's only the beginning. On the opposite side of the solar system sits Uranus, the planet often linked to disruption, sudden change, and radical transformation. During this alignment, Uranus will form a near-perfect opposition to the Sun-Mercury conjunction. And then, right in the middle of it all, comes the new moon. The moon will slide directly between Earth and Sun, adding its gravitational and electromagnetic influence to this rare geometry. When you stack all of this together, Sun, Moon, Earth, Mercury, and Uranus, you get a highly charged alignment, one that some astronomers and sky watchers are calling one of the most electromagnetically potent configurations in years. This celestial event doesn't happen in isolation. It's arriving just 2 weeks after the year's closest supermoon, and amid an already unstable backdrop of solar flares, meteor swarms, cometary activity, and high-speed solar wind. And there's more. Right before this alignment, Mercury will station retrograde, appearing to reverse its motion in the sky. In astrology, retrogrades are known for stirring confusion, breakdowns in systems, and unexpected shifts in flow, especially when linked to communication, travel, or timing. From a physics standpoint, it's a sign that the orbital dynamics are entering a high-tension phase. This planetary setup is rare, not just because of the positions, but because of what they represent. Mercury is speed and signal. Uranus is upheaval. The Moon brings emotional and energetic sensitivity. And the Sun, well, it powers everything. When these forces align, even briefly, the result can be felt in shifts in space weather, human behavior, and Earth's electromagnetic field. It's a moment of pressure and possibility. November 20th isn't just another new moon. It's the final beat in a cycle that began with solar storms, rippled through meteor showers and seismic waves, and now draws to a point, a line, across the solar system. And once again, Earth is right in the middle of it. Energy wave and electromagnetic overload. Zoom out for a moment. Everything we've covered, the solar flares, the coronal mass ejections, the supermoon, the comet's perihelion, the Taurid meteor swarm, and the planetary alignments are not isolated events. They're all converging in a tight, rare, and highly energized window of time. One event might be manageable, but when they stack, the effects don't just add, they amplify. Right now, Earth is being swept by what can only be described as a multi-source energy wave. And we are fully immersed in it. The impact is already showing up in the skies. Auroras are flaring, reaching farther toward the equator than usual. These brilliant displays of light are visual proof that Earth's magnetic field is being stirred and stretched by incoming solar energy. And that's just the start. With charged solar particles pouring in, we're likely to see a rise in satellite drag. As Earth's upper atmosphere heats and expands, it increases friction on low-orbit satellites. That can disrupt trajectories, shorten lifespans, and in some cases, send older satellites tumbling out of orbit. Communication systems, GPS, and even radio networks may see intermittent blackouts or signal distortions. But it's not just machines that feel it. This energetic overload affects the entire electromagnetic environment around Earth. And that includes us. Some people may notice it as restlessness, sleep disruption, headaches, or a general sense of being off. For those sensitive to EMF changes, this period may feel especially charged. It's not woo, it's physics. Our bodies operate on subtle bioelectric systems that can respond to shifts in the environment. The real wild card is how all these overlapping forces interact. A solar flare alone can trigger a geomagnetic storm. Add in a meteor stream with large debris potential, a close lunar pass increasing tectonic tension, and a planetary alignment focusing electromagnetic pressure, and you've got a perfect cocktail for disruption. This isn't doom, it's awareness. It's a moment to pay attention to what's happening above, below, and around us. The systems of Earth and space are not separate. They are deeply, constantly intertwined. We are riding a wave of energy, and while we don't know exactly how it will unfold, we do know one thing for sure: we're already in it. Implications and what to expect. After everything we've seen, from the largest Earth-facing solar flare in months to the return of powerful sunspot groups, the approach of Comet A6 Lemon, a record-setting supermoon, the Taurid meteor stream, planetary alignments, and rising seismic activity, it's clear this is more than just a string of coincidences. What we're witnessing is a convergence. These are not isolated events, scattered randomly across the calendar. They are stacking, overlapping, and amplifying one another, forming a kind of energetic crescendo. It's as if Earth has moved into the center of a vast cosmic intersection, where solar physics, gravitational dynamics, interplanetary geometry, and deep Earth processes all meet. This isn't just about what's already happened. It's about what comes next. The signs suggest we are at the beginning of a new energetic phase, one that could span weeks, possibly months, and bring with it elevated solar activity, more intense space weather, and increased instability in Earth systems. With the active sunspot regions still rotating across the Earth-facing side of the Sun, the chances of additional M-class and even X-class flares remain high. And those flares, if they produce Earth-directed CMEs, can trigger significant geomagnetic storms. Geomagnetic storms are more than a light show. They're the result of massive amounts of solar plasma slamming into Earth's magnetic field. When that happens, satellites in low Earth orbit can experience increased drag. Power systems may face surges or outages, and long-distance communication, including radio, GPS, and internet signals, can become erratic. For aviation, for navigation, for the digital grid we all depend on, these storms can create real-world consequences. But that's not all. Gravitational forces from the supermoon have already pushed Earth's tides to their limits, both in water and in the crust itself. Combined with the arrival of high-speed solar wind from coronal holes, these forces may agitate tectonic systems already under strain. The recent earthquakes we've seen could be precursors. More may follow, especially in sensitive fault zones. Still, none of this is meant to spark panic. The point is awareness. Earth isn't being targeted or punished. It's simply part of a larger system, moving through a season of intensity that's as natural as the turning of tides. The question is, how do we respond? In times of energetic pressure, whether physical, cosmic, or emotional, one of the best things we can do is stay grounded. That's not just a metaphor. It's literal. Getting outside, connecting with nature, walking barefoot on natural earth or grass, these small acts help regulate the human nervous system. Our bodies are electric. Our brains run on subtle biofields. When Earth's magnetic field shifts rapidly, we feel it, even if we don't always recognize it for what it is. You might notice disrupted sleep, restlessness, headaches, a heightened sense of tension, or maybe nothing at all. But during times like this, it's wise to support the body with clean hydration, proper rest, and reduced stimulation. Step away from the noise. Give your system a break. These are not just wellness tips. They're survival habits for living in an energetically active world. The other key is observation. Watch the skies. Pay attention to space weather reports, not just the local forecast. Solar activity, aurora forecasts, meteor tracking. All of it is becoming more relevant to our daily lives. As our technologies become more sensitive and our infrastructure more interconnected, space weather is no longer just for scientists. It's for everyone. Because when solar storms erupt, or when large CMEs collide with Earth's magnetic shield, the effects ripple from orbit to ground, from satellites to smartphones to power grids. The electromagnetic environment that supports our way of life is vulnerable to these events, and the better we understand them, the better we can adapt. The bigger picture is this: Earth is not separate from the cosmos. We are deeply tied to the rhythms of the sun, the movements of the moon, the pull of other planets, and the ancient debris that still drifts through our orbit. This is one living, breathing system, and right now, that system is surging. What we're seeing may just be the opening wave. There could be more ahead, stronger flares, brighter auroras, unusual weather, strange magnetic pulses, even technological malfunctions. But if we stay alert, stay grounded, and stay informed, we'll be able to move through this moment with clarity, resilience, and awe. Because the most incredible part of all this? We're in it, right now. Alive, aware, and watching from the only place in the universe that can see it unfold from this perspective, Earth. Thanks for watching. If this cosmic deep dive opened your eyes, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Stay curious, stay grounded, and keep looking up. The universe is talking.